Hello, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here today and to participate in this important discussion of food safety and the future challenges facing our food systems. So welcome to the celebration of the Food Safety Day 2026. First of all, I would like to thank the EU Food Safety Platform for the invitation and the opportunity to participate in this World Food Safety Day initiative. Today's webinar, I'm going to speak about food safety, tech expertise, and competence for the future. The webinar agenda will be the introduction of OET and myself, food safety and interconnected risks, why food safety is strategic, global risks in the food chain, evolution of the food safety through the years, quality department, the invisible key of food safety, food engineers and food safety teams, why European professional regulation is important, and the food engineer of the future. So starting to present the OET, Ordem dos Engenheiros Técnicos. The OET is a Portuguese public professional association representing technical engineers in Portugal with delegated public authority, responsibilities regarding professional regulation, ethics, competence, recognition, and engineering practice. The organization was formally established in 1999 and later became the Ordem dos Engenheiros Técnicos in 2011, reinforcing its role as the official professional body representing technical engineers at national level. It integrates within the National Committee of European Engineering Framework through its participation in Engineers Europe, previously known as FEANI, and it's member of the World Federation of Engineering Organizations as well. So today, OET represents engineering professionals from multiple engineering sectors and specialties, organized through several professional colleges covering different engineering disciplines. Within this structure, the Food Engineering College represents technical food engineers across Portugal, promoting technical competence, professional ethics, scientific development, and the strategic importance of food safety and food systems. So my name is CARLA ROSA. I'm a food engineer with more than 25 years of experience in the food safety, quality systems, risk management, and regulatory compliance. Through my professional career, I have worked extensively with meat industry, while also providing consultancy services across different food sectors, including fish processing industries, hotels, and restaurants in Portugal. This multidisciplinary experience has allowed me to work closely with different realities of the food chain and understand the growing complexity and importance of the food safety in protecting public health. I'm also currently the president of Food Engineering College within the Portuguese Order of Technical Engineers. As a president of the Food Engineering College, I have the responsibility of representing technical food engineers in Portugal and contributing to the promotion of technical excellence, public health protection, and food safety awareness. And this leads directly to the topic of today's webinar, because today, more than ever before, food safety is not only an operational or technical issue. It is now a strategic public health priority. So, starting from the basis, food is the foundation of our survival as humanity. Unlike many other systems, food is not optional. So, humanity will never stop needing food. And this must be safe. And this is where food technical engineers and food safety teams enter to do their job. When the food chain fails, public health is compromised, economics are affected, and social stability becomes vulnerable because food systems are not isolated systems anymore. They are interconnected with healthy systems, global trades, logistics, energy, and climate and geopolitical stability. A disruption in food safety today can rapidly become a global crisis tomorrow. We are living in an era of interconnected risks. None of them are isolated anymore. They are interconnected, and they all imply directly on the food systems. So we have the pandemics, we have the climate change, we have conflicts and disruptions, and when the food chains fails. There are only 4 here, there are many more. I'm going to speak about these ones. So for the pandemics, disruption of global supply chains and collapse of food distribution systems. For the climate change, changes in agriculture production patterns and proliferation of emerging biological risks. For the conflicts and disruptions, destruction of agriculture infrastructures and logistic blockage and supply disruptions. This can take to severe economical instability. When the food chain fails, simultaneously failure of public health, economic and social stability happens, and food systems are at the center of all these interconnected risks. Food safety and food security are closely connected, but they are not the same. So food security refers to food availability, access, and system stability. For the food safety, focus more on ensuring that food does not cause harm to the consumers. In today's world, food safety has become an invisible but critical infrastructure. It is not enough to simply produce food today. Food must be safe, must be accessible, and sustainably stable over time. The European Union has developed one of the strongest food safety frameworks in the world. Regulation number 178 from 2002 established the general principles of the law with the European Union. It introduced the concepts such as traceability, risk analysis, and precautionary principle. This regulation also created the European Food Safety Authority, EFSA, reinforcing this way the scientific support for food risk assessment and public health protection. Before the European Regulation 178, the foundations of modern food safety governance had already been established internationally through the Codex Alimentarius. The Codex became the first major global reference framework for food hygiene, food labeling, hazard control, and international food standards harmonization. Although today I will only briefly mention some of the main regulations, I would not like to overlook the importance of this codex. The hygiene package transformed the European food safety approach. Regulations such as the 852 and 853 establish mandatory hygiene and food safety requirements across the food chain. These regulations require companies to implement HACCP systems, ensure traceability, and systematic identify and control hazards. Food operators must demonstrate preventive control and continuous monitoring. The Rapid Alert System for Food and Feed, the RASFF, is one of the most important European food safety tools. It allows rapid communication between member states whenever food risk is identified. This system helps authorities and companies to react quickly to incidents and to prevent food from reaching the customers. So why food safety is strategic? That's a good question. So food safety risks are becoming increasingly complex. Emerging structural risks across the global food chain, and I'm going to mention only these 4: climate change, globalization and external dependency, food cybersecurity, food fraud, and food defense. We are seeing some new microbiological patterns. Climate change is directly influencing microorganisms and alluring the distribution of them. It is a direct impact on food systems, such as agricultural production and contamination patterns. Rising temperatures and extreme weather events create favorable conditions for microbiological pathogens, and it's increasing their prevalence. Mycotoxins, increasing is occurring to the warmer and to the humid climates. Fungal toxins contaminate essential crops. Changes in the behavior of mycotoxins producing fungi. Higher risk of contamination in cereals and essential daily foods. Direct impact on human and animal health, according to the European Environmental Agency. Water scarcity. So water shortage is a direct consequence of climate change. Reduce water availability for crops and lowers agricultural productions. Increase the risk of secondary contamination. Limited water availability may concentrate contaminants and reduce water quality. Higher risk of microbiological and chemical contamination in irrigated foods. Long supply chains. So globalization has created highly complex food supply chains. Products and ingredients may cross several countries before reaching the final consumer. Globalization has expanded supply chains beyond local borders. Greater logistical complexity and more potential points of failure. Disruptions may result from conflicts, natural disasters, and logistical failures. Geographically dispersed supply chains amplify the impact on the final consumer. Geopolitical vulnerability, armed conflicts and political instability disrupt global food supply chains. The Russian-Ukraine war has impacted cereal and fertilizer markets. Rising prices and disruption of international food trade flows. And geopolitical risks may generate sanctions, tariffs, and trade restrictions. Increase logistical costs and delivery times for importing companies. Attacks on traceability systems. So cyber threats, digitalization has improved traceability systems, it's true, but it also created new vulnerabilities. Cyber attacks targeting food systems may compromise data integrity, operational continuity, and traceability. Food cybersecurity is now an emerging dimension of food safety management. So growing cyber attacks vectors across the food chain is happening also. There are a lot of examples in the last few years. Real-time traceability expose vulnerable points within the food systems. Risk range from sensors to centralized databases, and potential impact on integrity and security of the food value chain. Food fraud involves intentional adulteration or misleading practice motivated by economic gain, may compromise quality, authenticity, and food safety. For example, cheap vegetable oils sold as extra virgin olive oil, or adulterated honey, diluted spices, and misleading country of origin labeling. The consequences will be the consumer deception and potential food safety risks. Food defense addresses deliberate contamination and criminal threats against food systems. Threats involving pathogen microorganisms contamination and, for example, blades in food packaging include baby food. Demonstrates vulnerabilities related to the food defense and intentional attacks. Even without confirmed contamination, public panic, economic losses, and several reputational damage for the companies. The food chain has become highly complex and a vulnerable system. A single product may involve multiple countries, suppliers, technologies, and distribution networks before reaching the consumer. So this complexity increases vulnerability. A disruption in one part of the system can rapidly affect the entire chain. Today, food safety is no longer only about hygiene and control. It is integrated risk management. So food safety within the organizations has evolved significantly over the years. Initially, the main focus was legal compliance, simply meeting regulatory requirements. Later, organizations moved towards HACCP implementation and certification systems, creating more structure and preventing food safety controls. But today, that is no longer enough. We are now entering a new phase, a phase of risk culture, resilience, and strategic prevention. Modern organizations must anticipate risks, prepare for crisis, and build resilient food systems capable of responding to increasingly unstable global environment. Today, food safety can no longer be separated from business strategy. Organizations must adopt strategy risk-based approach. This means integrating risk analysis into decision-making process, developing contingency plans, ensuring business continuity, and preparing effective crisis communication systems. But above all, it requires preventive leadership. Resilient organizations are not the ones that react best to crises, but the ones that anticipate them. And this is going to be the future. The organizations must anticipate what is coming when they are aware that something is going to be wrong, and all the scenarios must be ready to make the perfect approach. Impact on the public health, economic stability, and consumer confidence. A single food safety incident can destroy reputations within hours. Fraud incidents can compromise international trade and consumer trust, and a systematic failure can generate social instability. So food safety is a strategy asset at national, European, and global level. Behind every safe meal, there is a quality department. Most consumers will never see this work, but every day quality and food safety teams are monitoring processes, verifying controls, validating systems, and preventing risks before they reach the consumer. They will ensure compliance with the law, protect brand reputation, and mostly importantly, protect the public health. So quality departments are an invisible department in many companies, but their work is saving lives. Much of the quality department work is invisible to society, but its impact protects millions of people every day. So this resumes what I was saying. An extraordinary work that is rarely seen, but essential every day. And quality and food safety teams ensure that food reaches consumers safe, inspected, controlled, and compliant. And this responsibility requires far more than operational control. It requires strong scientific and technical competence in microbiology, food technology, hygiene systems, traceability, risk analysis, risk management, and regulatory compliance. So food safety, it's built through science, prevention, and continuous vigilance. Food engineers and food safety teams. The role of the food engineers is not limited to inspections and controls, documentation. They also develop a true food safety culture where prevention becomes part of the daily operational thinking. Because consumers may never know who these professionals are, but every consumer depends on their work every single day. So they manage risk across the entire food chain. They respond to incidents and prevent food safety crises and promote continuous improvement and food safety culture. They are a critical pillar of the consumer trust. Food engineers do not only produce food, they design systems, they manage risks, they develop preventive strategies, and ensure that food reaches consumer safely and with quality. In an increasingly complex world, their role is becoming more strategic than ever before. They are really a plus when it comes to companies in the food chain. So food technical engineers are the forefront of the food sector with science-based competence, perform essential activities to ensure safe and high-quality food. As you can see, there's a lot of work that a food technical engineer can do. Industrial management and food trade, food safety and microbiology, food policy and sustainability, laboratories analysis, water and food, licensing, food industries and food businesses, food law and regulatory standards, food engineering and processing, investigation and development of new food products, health and nutrition, food quality and safety, HACCP, training and research, sensory analysis and statistics. The role of the food technical engineers and organizations play a fundamental role in protecting public health and supporting the food safety systems. Food engineers provide technical authority based on science, evidence, and risk analysis. Their decisions directly influence consumer protection, operational safety, and market confidence. But technical competence alone is not enough. It also requires ethical responsibility, continuous professional development, and strong culture prevention. And this is where professional organizations become essential. They help regulate competence, promote professional standards, reinforce ethical principles, and ensure that society can trust professionals responsible for their safety systems. So, technical authority in the food safety management, technical responsibility in decision-making based on scientific evidence, ethical leadership in protecting consumers and markets, continuous training in response to emerging global risks, promotion of a culture of prevention, and continuous improvement. Food engineers and risk management professionals play a critical role in protecting society and public health. Professional regulation is important. Food safety systems should be managed by properly qualified professionals because food safety is not based on assumptions. It is based on science, technical competence, and evidence-based decision-making. And in a world of increasingly complex global risks, this becomes even more critical. Professional regulation helps ensure minimum competence, ethical responsibility, and continuous professional development. Protecting the food engineer profession, it's not only about protecting a professional title, it's about protecting public health and consumer trust in the integrity of food systems. So the lack of technical competence may compromise the food safety systems, hazard identification, risk prevention, and consumer protection. Professional regulation helps to ensure minimal technical competence, ethical responsibility, continuous professional development, public trust. Protecting the profession also means protecting public health. The future food engineer. The future of food safety will be increasingly driven by technology, data, and predictive systems. So future food engineers will need to combine strong scientific knowledge with digital competence and strategic risk analysis. Artificial intelligence will not replace food engineers, but it will become a powerful tool to support decision-making. AI systems will help identify trends, predict risks earlier, detect anomalies faster, and improve crisis-preventing strategies. The future food engineer will work at the intersection of science, of technology, data analysis, sustainability, and public health protection, because the future of the food safety will depend not only on controlling risks, but on anticipating them before they happen. So we will have, for sure, predictive artificial intelligence supporting predictive risk analysis, early hazard detection, trend identification, and faster decision making. We are living in a truly global era, and with globalization, risks have also become global. So food systems are vulnerable because they are deeply interconnected. And this is why prevention has become strategic. Today, food safety is no longer only about regulatory compliance. It's a pillar of social protection, public health, economical stability, and consumer trust. Because protecting food systems ultimately means protecting society itself. So global risks are increasing, food systems are vulnerable, prevention has become strategic, and food safety is a really pillar of social protection. Protecting food means protecting people, and protecting people, protecting the future. That's what it means. So before we conclude today's webinar, I would also like to invite everyone to actively participate in this discussion. Please feel free to leave your comments, reflections, and professional perspectives in the comment section. Food safety is a shared responsibility, and only through collaboration, multidisciplinary dialogue, and exchange of knowledge can we strengthen the resilience of our food systems and better protect the public health. Your experience, ideas, and contributions are extremely valuable. Thank you once again for watching this webinar, for your participation and commitment to the food safety. Thank you.